Well, for the past 14 years, I've been skateboarding, and it pretty much saved my life. I watched a lot of kids run around and get into gangs or do drugs and stuff like that, and skateboarding gave me the outlet to be able to go out and do whatever it is that I want to do, whatever comes into my mind. It gives me a completely different sense of what is physically around me and what is physically possible to do. People, when they look at a set of stairs, they see something to go up or down. I see something to jump over. I see something to jump onto. I see something to do something more than what it's made to do with. No one is ever good right from the start. You can't ever just jump on a board and be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. You gotta be able to learn your fundamentals. You gotta be ready to fall. You see your friends and they ollie the set and they do the 180 down the set, and you're watching them and you get that idea in your head, you see it, and you say, that's what I want to do, that's how I'm going to do it, this is the way it's going to be. And then you have to go out there and you have to actually physically work for your trick. You know, I would sit outside for hours on end trying to figure out how to do one trick, and you know, it could be 4 or 6 hours of figuring out where you need to put your feet, how much force to put into your pop, where to kick your foot off the edge of the board to make it flip the way that you want it to flip, and how to just land back on it and be smooth and roll away. I've experimented and tried all these things over and over and over again and learned how to know exactly what my board's doing underneath me. Starts off with pure physics. It's the beginning of everything. This is rad experimentation, and I am a scientist.
You know, I actually can skateboard a little bit, but Dan is the man at naturally understanding how the world works. He can figure out how to make his skateboard fly up in the air, do flips, and land back down. When you add numbers to that, that makes you a physicist. Why do we want to do this? Ultimately, it's about figuring out how things interact. With numbers and physics, we can figure out exactly how much fuel it takes to get a rocket to go to the moon. Precisely. Now let's talk about Dan's skateboard. So let's dissect how Dan's board works. He pushes down on his board, yet his board goes up. What's up with that? Then his board does his little flippy-doo thing. In order to understand what is happening, we have to understand Newton's third law, which means that for every force in one direction, you have to have an equal force in the opposite direction. Again, with skateboarding, you push down to fly up. And flying way up in the air is the opposite force to pushing down into the ground. There are only a couple little things that we need to know to get to the bottom of all of this. Weight and speed. And the physics term for speed is velocity. It's really hard to have a lot of velocity when there's a lot of weight. Think about pushing a surfboard through the water compared to the Titanic. And the Titanic weighs a huge amount, so it's going to move slowly. So Ian's helping us out where he's going to do an ollie. He's going to fly up in the air. He has mass and the earth has mass. And so both are going to have velocities. One in this direction, one in that direction. All right, ollie away. Oh yeah, do you see the earth move? It's hard to envision the earth moving when it weighs so much more than me. Let's talk about something that weighs a little less than the earth, but a lot more than me, like a car. When I push off a car that weighs so much more than I do, it actually moves a little bit, and I move a lot. That's because of the weight difference. Now, if we weigh the same amount, like Ian and I, watch what happens to our speed. I'd say it's about the same amount. Hey little guy, you don't weigh very much compared to me. I wonder if I were to push off of you. This time I'd be the planet and you'd be the little person. It's between you and me. Too bad, you lose. So Newton's third law is what skateboarding's all about. When you skateboard and you push against the earth, you fly up and the earth moves just a little bit. Just like when I pushed against this little guy, I didn't move very much, but he flew away. Equal and opposite forces. Newton's third law.